daughter didn't run away. She's missing.
We found human remains.
I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987.
A predator that ruined families.
And the task force was pretty intricate. Investigators, lawyers, forensics, the FBI, and the police departments all working together to solve this case.
Can you confront the truth behind one of America's most puzzling cold cases? The Gilgo Beach murders have stumped law enforcement, devastated families, and instilled fear in the community for over a decade. In this gripping investigation, we'll excavate the eerie clues left behind by a mysterious killer who was only discovered recently. As we assemble the evidence and delve into the victims' lives, you'll find yourself engrossed in a tale of mystery and suspense that will lead you to question every twist and turn. Gilgo Beach, Long Island, a serene coastal gem boasting sun-kissed shores and rhythmic sea waves. It's a popular getaway for both residents and visitors alike. An escape from city life with untouched sandy stretches and breathtaking views. However, beneath this tranquil facade lurks a disturbing and sinister mystery that puzzled residents for years. A series of murders disrupted the region's peace. It's suspected to be the work of a serial killer who operated from 1996 to 2011, leaving a chilling trail of destruction and terror across Long Island, New York. Up to 18 bodies have been discovered, most of whom had advertised themselves on Craigslist as potential sex workers. Their horrifying tales are gut-wrenching and dreadful. Their assailant soon became known as the Long Island serial killer. First Blood. The saga began with the search for a missing escort, Shannon Gilbert, a 23-year-old from Jersey City. She was last seen at a client's house in Oak Beach. During her final communication with 911, Gilbert reported, "There's someone after me. They're trying to kill me."
State police. Yeah, there's somebody after me. I'm sorry? There's somebody after me. Where are you?
After a 20-minute call, the line went dead. Later, during a police search, her remains were found in a nearby marshland more than a year later. Within 2 days, investigators discovered the remains of 3 more victims: Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Amber Costello, and Megan Waterman, scattered along a half-mile stretch of Gilgo Beach. All 3 young women had advertised their services on Craigslist as escorts before vanishing. Was the killer specifically targeting escorts? After Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance, her family began receiving disturbing and taunting phone calls. In mid-April of the same year, Stephen Cohen, an attorney for Bartholomew's mother, stated that a man using the victim's cell phone made taunting calls and claimed he had murdered Bartholomew. "Do you think you'll ever see her again?" the unidentified male caller asked Bartholomew's sister on August 26, 2009. According to Cohen, "You won't. I killed her," he added before abruptly ending the call. The devastation continues. In January 2011, investigators unearthed several promising leads while examining the mysterious case of Gilgo Beach. Melissa Bartholomew's cell phone calls were traced back to Midtown Manhattan, with the last 2 originating near Madison Square Garden and Times Square before abruptly disconnecting, leaving authorities scrambling to pinpoint exactly where these calls came from. On March 29th, an 18-year-old vanished in Manorville. Since that day, the case has only become more complex. Investigators found partial remains belonging to Jessica Taylor, originally identified by locals in 2003. Their investigation rapidly transformed into a shaky search for answers about how these young women met their tragic ends. As April progressed, more grisly discoveries were made. 3 more sets of remains were found near Suffolk County along Ocean Parkway.
We found human remains.
The killer was leaving a trail of victims like breadcrumbs. Among these were an infant girl, an Asian man, and a woman known only as Jane Doe. The community lived in fear, dreading the day the killer might strike again. This discovery broadened both the timeline and geographic scope of the investigative efforts. A week later, 2 sets of human remains surfaced in Nassau County near New York City. DNA analysis identified one as belonging to the mother of the toddler whose partial remains had been discovered nearly 10 years earlier in 1997 on Fire Island. This implied a much larger, more sinister puzzle that required solving. Shannon Gilbert was found dead 9 miles from where other remains had been located at Gilgo Beach. Authorities later speculated her death might have been accidental, but the case remained shrouded in mystery and suspicion. The hunt is on. In January 2020, the Suffolk County Police made a strategic move, releasing photos of a black leather belt they believed to be key evidence. The belt, embossed with the letters WH or HM, was thought to have been handled by the suspect and did not belong to any of the victims. The hunt for the killer was intensifying, and the department even launched a website to gather new tips from the public. On May 28, 2020, Valerie Mack, 24, who had gone missing 20 years earlier, was identified in the unprecedented breakthrough thanks to advanced forensic DNA technology and the tireless efforts of the FBI and Suffolk County investigators. Suffolk County detectives identified and located her remains, connecting them with her adoptive family and her son. This discovery offered new hope and answers in their Jane Doe investigation. It was an emotional finding that gave renewed hope to families seeking answers. By February 2022, the pressure on this case had significantly intensified. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison established an aggressive multi-agency task force composed of Suffolk County Police Department personnel, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office staff, New York State Police officers, and FBI agents, all determined to put a stop to the elusive killer's future actions. A hunch. Heuermann, an architect with a strong social background, became an immediate suspect when identified in March 2022 by New York State investigators through a database search. Authorities then monitored him and his family, even collecting DNA samples from their trash. Cell tower records pointed to Heuermann, who perfectly fit the physical descriptions provided by witnesses. Investigators unearthed disturbing evidence about Heuermann after further scrutiny of his background. Cell phone and credit card records placed Heuermann near the crime scenes during the murders. Authorities allege he used burner phones during the killings and made taunting calls using the victims' cell phones after they had gone missing. Moreover, a search of his computer revealed that Heuermann had been consistently searching online for details related to the investigation. He was looking for photos and relatives of the victims, trying to trace families that might still exist. Detectives heightened their suspicion after finding a cup believed to have been discarded by Heuermann between January and April 2022. Unfortunately, no DNA samples could be extracted from it due to inconsistencies, but its discovery added further proof against him, bringing justice one step closer. In January 2023, investigators obtained a breakthrough piece of evidence, a complete sample of Heuermann's DNA. The suspect had discarded a pizza box in the trash, and this seemingly insignificant act became a pivotal moment in the investigation. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory meticulously examined the remains of one victim. Materials found at her burial site provided an unexpected clue. A strand of male hair under the burlap was a DNA match to Heuermann. This was a stunning display of determination, ensnaring a serial killer with the help of a slice of pizza. Yet the DNA connections didn't stop there. Hair from Heuermann's wife was also discovered near the 3 other victims, adding another layer of complexity to the plot. On July 13, 2023, authorities made their initial arrest in this case, detaining Heuermann in New York City. He was then transported to Suffolk County Police Headquarters in Yaphank, Long Island for processing. A search of Heuermann's computer revealed that he had scoured the internet at least 200 times for updates about the investigation, according to District Attorney Tierney. Heuermann had also obsessively searched for photographs of the victims and their relatives, and attempted to locate their family members. Unsurprisingly, Heuermann's arrest didn't occur overnight. It was the culmination of 2 layers of relentless investigation, involving grand jury power to issue subpoenas, search warrants in pursuit of evidence linking him to these horrific murders, and over 300 summons. The quest for justice was so relentless it finally seemed to assemble all the pieces of the puzzle. Furthermore, court documents suggest that additional charges against Heuermann may be forthcoming. he has already been associated with at least one other disappearance, that of Brainerd Barnes, who was later found deceased. However, further developments in this case are yet to unfold, so stay tuned for more updates. We extend our deepest condolences to the victims and hope that no one else has to endure such a horrific crime. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to keep updated on our new releases. Feel free to comment on any case you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for watching, and as always, please stay safe.